Oh yeah. So what happened was that was my first grappling event ever, the one that you were at, which Webb invited me to and Rob invited me to very nicely, and I was like, I can't wait to go, but I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. So I had him like break down every part, how long everything is, if it's by points, you know. So I actually enjoyed it. We're already rolling, just in case you're wondering. So that was the first time I saw you perform. I was following you. I follow a lot of random people, I think based on people who follow people. And then I'm like, oh, that person. But obviously, you know, you come with a huge resume. And then when I saw that you were going to be on the Fury, was it Fury 1? Is that what it's considered, I guess? Their first grappling event? Yeah. I was excited because I was going to go. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll get to see her and all these other super talented people. How was that event for you? Was it like every other event, or was it a little different?
It was the way like the production and everything was made. It turned out to be really, really cool. And I did it like only like for 3 weeks preparation, I think John told me. But yeah, everything like went well, like the event. And then last minute I kind of like was told I was main event, so it made it more fun.
Hell yeah, yeah. Well, I think well deserved. I mean,
yeah.
So I was like, before you got here, I was like digging like every single thing I could find about you just to kind of get my grips on what you've done. You seem like you keep on achieving all these cool things that like people that go kind of either viral or people just talk about. Whether it's what's her name, the UFC girl that you tapped out real quick.
I tapped out 2 of them.
Oh, that's even better.
Cynthia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like 17 seconds or something like that.
It was 15, but they say 17 is like, you know, whatever. But yeah, it was 17
That's
seconds.
messed up. Give her the 2 seconds.
No, she's really cool. No, she was really strong and nice.
So I want to get into like your whole kind of how you got to where you're at now. But do you have any, like, you don't fight?
No, actually, I've been working on my striking for a little bit.
Yeah.
But for these couple months this year, I focus on just my grappling and my ground game because I had like a crappy match in February. So of course, like, you know, everyone was kind of doubting me. The trolls came out. You know, I have a following, so that's bound to happen. Like UFC fighters go through it. So I spent like these couple months of like really critiquing my details of like my ground training and jiu-jitsu, studying my opponents, and I was the underdog. And I think it was like 3 weeks ago now, for Who's Number One, Flow Grappling. I was a major underdog, and you know, I felt like I wasn't really respected. Like I'm a black belt, and this girl was a brown belt. So, you know, I really wanted to take it serious and just prove to people that I'm not just some social media dumb former ring girl. You know, I wanted to like prove my point that, you know, this person's not on my level.
Where's the criticism come from though? Like, what's it about?
Just people talk. It's not like...
It's just like regular hate. It's not like about skills or anything?
It's a little bit of that. Like, coming to my match with Who's Number One, like, I was getting trolls, like, saying, like, why is this girl black belt? Like, you know, because I had one bad match. I got over COVID. This was back in February. I lost by decision. You know, I just didn't play my game. Like, you know, at times, like, I just wasn't in my groove. Like, I couldn't, like, just get into my game. So... You know, that really, like, it made me really emotional during that time, and it made me, like, snap back into reality, like, you know, this is what I'm, like, good at. Like, I can prove myself, and that's what I did. And, you know, I went back to back. I submitted 2 high-level girls, and people now... Yeah. They're silent, so... Yeah.
Well, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you can't give it the time of day.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I've been going, like, through it. Like, I'm still young to sport, and, you know, it comes with it, I guess. Especially for females. You can't stop it.
But the thing is, like, I say it all the time, like, you want the compliments and the hate. Like, you don't want...
Yeah, like, what's wrong with... Like,
you don't want anything in between because nobody cares. You know what I mean? Like... If you're stuck in the middle, you're not doing anything.
I'm not like a huge fan of him, but I like Conor McGregor's quote. I don't know word for word, but I know he says something along the lines like, if people are talking good or bad about you, make sure you're still getting paid either way.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You know, he's not wrong about that.
Conor's just full of great quotes. You're in the right room. I'm a Conor fan, as everybody knows. And,
well, I mean, we'll talk about fights later. But
yes, we will. All right, so you're from Philly. What part of Philly?
I grew up in Northeast Philly. Both my parents are from Northeast. Well, my mom is, but my dad's like from Upper Pennsylvania. Okay.
And how long have you been now in Jersey?
I would say about 3 years.
Okay.
About 3 years.
Is it hard for you to get out of the Philly zone? Or do you carry Philly? Because you're in North-ish Jersey.
I'm
Which
like
is a whole
probably
different
on the
vibe.
border of New York.
Yeah, that's a whole different vibe up there.
Yeah. Honestly, when I left Philly, it didn't affect me at all. I was actually happier, and I felt like that change. I needed that, and I'm around better people who uplift me, who want to see me do better. And the facts speak for themselves. You know, in Philly, like it was cool, but I was at a point in my life where like I was weighing the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Like seeing like, all right, what weighs more? The bad was weighing more in Philly, so I kind of just, I felt like I needed a change. And
Was it bad, like personal bad, or was it like fighting, or like did you move for fighting reasons, for training reasons, or did you?
It was a lot of things. Like
just so you know, I'm gonna keep on saying fighting, even though it's not
it's
necessarily
fine.
fighting.
It's fine. No, we're in a combat sport.
That whole night at the event, I was like, "So who fights next?" And you keep on looking at me like, "Seriously?"
I call it fighting. I think it's the same thing. Like
it's a combat.
Yeah.
It's like a okay.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry.
It wasn't. It's like both personal and training, especially training. I felt like I wasn't getting the proper attention that I needed.
Okay.
I'm fairly a small female, like competitor. Like I'm walking around 110, 115. I'm trying to get jacked, but that's not working out. So I just keep lifting. But
I weighed 110 like in middle school.
Yeah. So like, I felt like I wasn't getting like the right attention, and I was like going from school, like from like an academy, and I was going to Daniel's at one point. It just wasn't really working out for me, and I went to Silver Fox and just happier ever since.
Well, I mean, I think like people thrive in different environments, right? So like some people thrive in that like big group kind of setting, and some people just need a more one-on-one or a smaller group, or just the right combination.
Like learning. Like I felt like I've been doing like more like one-on-one training with my coaches, and I felt like that's helped me a lot. And with striking, I felt like every detail that needs to be worked on, like I'm getting help for it and the attention.
Gotcha. Okay. So bring me back to like as far back as you can remember. Like what was growing up like? What was your household setting? Mom and dad together? That whole deal?
Well, I'll give like a short story. Like it's not all happy. But I grew up in Northeast Philly. Like probably, I don't know if you're familiar with Northeast Philly, like Northeast High School. So I was like probably like 5 minutes away from Northeast High School. I got into jiu-jitsu when I was around 11. So I went from a city school to a suburban school. So I moved to Abington. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Abington either, but I moved to Abington. So I was in Rockledge. It's like kind of near Fox Chase. And at that point, like I was a new kid. Unfortunately, like I was getting bullied a lot. So, at a point in time, like my dad was really sick, and I think he wanted me to be involved in something, and so my mom one day took me to this school. I'm not going to mention them because I don't really like them. So they took me to this school.
But you were getting bullied before
I
like where you're at right now in the story. You were getting bullied, but you weren't training.
I wasn't training yet.
Gotcha.
I was getting bullied. Okay. So my mom took me to this academy. And, I wanted to learn striking. That was like my main thing. Like I wanted to learn how to fight people, everything. And my coach at the time showed me what jiu-jitsu was. And I didn't know it was ground fighting. When someone takes you down, how are you going to defend yourself? You fight off your back. So, I did it a little bit, and it looked like we were in gis. So I thought it was like a rip-off karate at one point. So my instructor at the time like kind of convinced me to do this tournament. It was a Naga tournament, like every person's first tournament when you're a beginner that you do. And I only had like 4 months of training. And ever since like I did the tournament, I won my first match. I was doing a novice or beginner no-gi kids division, and I submitted like all 4 girls in my division. Like
with really that little training? Just
with 4 months training. And at the time, like whoever was like running the tournament thought I was cheating. They thought my coaches were sandbagging me. So they put me in the expert division. So then I took third.
She's actually 145.
Yeah.
And,
so I ended up taking third in the expert match. So I got first place in like the beginner division, and I got third in expert. I lost my first match with this girl that's been training for a while. But I took third, and I submitted a girl that was in this expert. So ever since then, like I knew like I fell in love with it, and I love competing, and I just love to compete in jiu-jitsu, and here I am right now.
Yeah. Okay. So then you were in a new school, you were getting bullied, you started training, you quickly grabbed the whole concept of it. Mm-hmm. Now, did the bullying stop at that point, or did you still did you have more confidence though? At least
jiu-jitsu gave me training gave me a lot of confidence for sure. And I still am relatively really quiet. And I don't like being in people's business. I'm like mostly in my own world most of the time. And I felt like, I was in middle school at the time too, and I was very quiet. And I was also like a 70-pound little girl. I'm like in a big school, getting bullied by like bigger girls. They're always like going after the girls who are like quiet. That's always the quiet ones.
Yeah.
So I think like at one point in 8th grade, I got into one fight. I got into like 4 school fights, and I won all of them. So I'm 4-0.
Wait. You can't just gloss over. I got into 4 fights, and I beat them all.
So my first fight.
Are
was
you
in
sure you
8th
weren't the
grade.
bully? I'm just.
No. I had to defend myself. But my first fight was in 8th grade. Like this girl, like I was so shy, like fighting someone, like I was scared, I was terrified.
How did that go down, by the way? This is middle school, right? You're saying?
This is middle school.
Because fights are weird when you're in school. It's like I mean, I don't know how it was for you guys, but at least when we were growing up, like I said, like I'm 100, but I'm just saying, like at least in my school, it was always like this whole fucking setup, like today. Like at his neighborhood, and then like it's like so dramatic.
Yep.
And which is fucking scary for when you're young, because even if you're not part of the fight, you're like, oh shit, like this is about to go.
So it was kind of like I'm trying to remember, but like it was kind of like that kind of thing. Like she wanted to fight me after school at this time at this part of the school. So like we ended up like later on that day, like we ended up kind of like changing classes, like changing periods, and she shoved me. And at that point, like...
You're like, it's not that time yet.
Yeah, at that point, she shoved my shoulder, and I just remember doing a double leg on her. I, like, hit her face a little bit, and there was like some lady, like, I guess they call them 8, like the 8 or whatever. She was, like, right there, and the lady saw her, like, shove me first, but I was one getting yelled at. But, yeah, that was, like, my first fight, and then that's when I grew, like, a lot of confidence. And then some of the bullies kind of, like... shoot away, and then some of them kind of like want to challenge me.
Of course.
So then I got into like another fight, like after school. This was like months later, like going to the bus, and some like you can just tell like when someone's staring at you. I went to like a city/suburban school.
Yeah.
So like, we had like a lot of those girls, and one of them just kept like staring me down, and then when you look at them and they say, "What are you looking at?" And then I kind of just like,
double leg them again.
Pretty much, yeah. And then I went to a new school.
For that reason, because of fighting?
No, like my dad, like he got really sick.
Gotcha.
So we moved to like another school. So I went from Abington to Lower Moreland. Like I'm not sure if you're familiar with like Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. So I moved there.
I keep on saying, yeah, I know the names.
Yeah.
I can't pinpoint them in a map. Yes.
So I went like up there, and I was the new kid again, starting over sophomore year, no friends. Like I was just by myself. And I started getting like kind of far away from my jiu-jitsu school, so I couldn't really like train. Then I got into the wrestling team. I started wrestling in middle school, sorry. So I started in 7th grade. But then I got on the wrestling team in sophomore year, and I just had like, you would think like girls would be supportive, like, oh, I'm like the first girl wrestler of this school. No, like they were just being bullies. And fast forward.
So you were wrestling with guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. At the time.
Is that common now?
It's very common now, but I think they have their own like girls team now.
Oh, okay. It
wasn't like that back then.
Okay.
I feel old saying that, because I was like
back
the only
in the
girl.
day.
Yeah, I was like literally the only like few girls on the wrestling team.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, you think girls would be supportive of that? What the hell is the problem?
Yeah, it's not always the
Kids
case.
are assholes sometimes, huh?
Yeah, they still are. It's even adults too. They just never grow up.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. I'm like, that person was a kid, probably with the same behavior, the same attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you run into them years later and you're like, oh, God, you have not changed at all.
Yeah, I do my best to avoid anybody I knew.
And then I got in, so like that was sophomore year. And then I think so I got in 3 street fights, sorry. So my last one was in junior year. This girl came into my science class while a teacher like had to like lecture someone outside the classroom because she thought I was talking about her girlfriend or something. I get in like stupid fights. I don't know how I get myself into them. I'm just a quiet kid, mind my own business, and she ended up coming into my classroom, and it was like her senior class. I had to go up a level because I was transferring schools. So I was in like her senior class, and as she came towards me, I kind of just went like wrestler mode and took her down and mounted her. Did like the MMA style fighting.
Ground and pound in science class.
And I didn't get suspended either.
You didn't?
Nope, I didn't.
Just because these girls kept on picking on you?
Well,
like
just
because you weren't the aggressor?
Fight, she started it, but they didn't suspend me.
But also this girl snuck into science class. Didn't she sneak into she was obviously looking for a fight.
Yeah. So yeah, I have like a pretty interesting like background story.
So your amateur record is 4-0
3-0
in school fights, all won by ground and pound. That's crazy. I never got into a street. Did you get into any school fights?
No, close. But
Close? No. Did you start?
No, well, I
Yeah,
was
you
literally, girl on
Yeah,
the
you
ground,
did.
and she was like, she's trying to talk shit, and I stood up and I was like, we can go right now.
Yeah.
Mind you,
I don't do the talking.
trained.
I just do it. Like I'm not gonna be like.
Listen,
we're
I'm
not
more
gonna
worried
have, like, little small talk.
girls like when they want. Listen, I'm gonna back away. Guys talk a lot of shit. The girls, when they want to go at it, you got to move. All right, so then you're not doing any striking like at that time in like learning striking.
I wasn't, because at the time, like my coach at the time, like thought I should just be focusing on jiu-jitsu, and I kick myself all the time. Like I wish like I started like striking, like learning the basics. I got the basics down, but I just want to make sure like now like I want to make sure I'm comfortable with striking as well as my ground game. If I ever have,
I'm sure people will disagree, but I feel like you're much better off being equipped with what you're equipped with and then learning striking than being a super good striker or a boxer and then trying to make
They
up
say that
for
it's harder learning jiu-jitsu later on than striking.
Yeah, I can
But
barely even know
bit,
the
like a year into it.
Yeah.
I just hate getting punched in the face. Like that's.
I don't think
really
well,
bad.
some psychos do,
Getting
but I don't
kicked
think
and punched
typically
in the
people
face.
like to get punched in the face, but then you double leg them and down and bend them, so it's all good. All right, so were you watching any fights at that time? Like, were you into UFC and stuff, or
it's
your family
like
into it?
crazy. Like, I started like in 2007, so I kind of like been around the block. Like, I know, like I've seen Gina Carano when she was like winning fights before her and Chris Cyborg fought. Like, I was following all the fights. I followed her like when she was fighting. Like, I was following her fighting a little bit. DC, like he's retired now, but like I was watching his fights. Luke Rockhold, you know, some of the smaller guys, they weren't in the UFC at the time. They had like their own like for
like
the small weight.
Like a region.
It was like WEC. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It was like.
But then the UFC acquired them, right?
Yeah. So that's like when Jose Aldo and Uriah Faber. Like I was
Yeah.
watching all those guys. That
Wow,
was, like,
so
pretty
you're
involved with it.
like you were legit into the sport.
Yes.
A lot of people say, yeah, of course I started watching it. You know, when Connor used to do that, you're like, wait a second.
No, I was like really into it.
Wait a
yeah.
second. That's
and
awesome.
as well as jiu-jitsu too.
Was your family also into the sport or no?
My mom was like she always wanted me like stick with softball, like ball sports. My dad was he had like some boxing, boxing experience. But I'm like the only one who is into martial arts.
Do you have any siblings?
I have 2 brothers. Yeah.
2 brothers? Do they do any fighting
No,
or wrestling? No.
My middle brother, he did a little bit.
Dabbles.
He did like a little bit of track, but
Oh, okay. Okay, no, I thought you were gonna say like he dabbled in jiu-jitsu or something.
No, I'm the tough one in the family.
How do they treat you, knowing that you're the badass in the family?
My oldest brother, he treats me with respect. Like he's like that. Like I can go to him for anything. My other brother, we always like butt heads. Like
I can tell by the way you said my other one though.
No, like they're like as I was growing up, like he would always like kind of like beat me up. And then our very last fight, like I don't remember like what happened, but I think he threw a textbook behind my head in high school, and I really like got super mad, and I just remember, just using my jiu-jitsu skills and kicking his ass, and then I got yelled at by my mom, and ever since he just didn't mess with me. It's just crazy. Like once you like kind of kick someone's ass, they just stop bothering you. So that's how I grew up.
That's a message for all of you.
Yeah.
Just kick their ass and they'll stop bothering you.
Yeah.
That's a great anti-bullying message. I mean, it's sort of true. You know what I mean? You got to stick up. You got to stick up for yourself. You do. What are you gonna do? So are they older or younger?
They're older.
Well, no, I'm sorry. You have a no. Right. You're the youngest one. Okay. Are they like just professionals right now? Or are they like?
No, they're doing their own thing. They work like real jobs now.
Oh, cool. Okay.
My oldest brother is in Florida.
Okay.
Like with a family and everything. Gotcha.
So when do you start getting into like tournaments and the whole thing? Because I don't know enough about it to know the world, but like, is there enough competition for you to be constantly active in tournaments and stuff? In the grappling world? Like, are you constantly doing events and stuff like that? Or is it not that often?
I'm not doing like local tournaments anymore. Because like I'd rather just get paid for like the big shows.
Yeah.
especially like if I'm gonna be on like Flow Grappling or Fight Pass or like especially Fight Pass.
But that's just considered professional grappling where you get paid, obviously. But so how many of those are there? Is there a lot of different?
There's always like a lot of grappling tournaments going on. It's not just like one specific, but like for big events like UFC Fight Pass ones that they put on, that's like maybe like 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
You know.
All right. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, are you active almost as a fighter, or is there less stuff to do when you're only competing in grappling events?
I mean, I try to stay active, like training for what's next, but I'm also, you know, eventually I want to get into MMA. Like that's definitely next goal.
When's that gonna happen?
I can't really
Come
say
on,
it right now.
give me a time frame here.
I can't. No.
How's the striking coming along though?
It's good. Like obviously, like it's frustrating sometimes because like I'd rather just make it go to the ground and it's my world. But like, you know, my coach right now, like he'll have me do like Muay Thai striking. You can't take them down. You have to just stay striking.
Right.
But it's going good. Like I just want to get the basics down and make sure I'm comfortable with it before. But I also have like a big tournament coming up for jiu-jitsu, so I can't really I can't announce it right now. But it's in sometime like September, so
okay. So that's what you're practicing. Like that's what you're
for now,
towards.
And then I think I'll be focused on like striking MMA like after.
So next year possibly start your MMA career.
Maybe
you got to give me some breaking news. I got to promote something. No, I'm joking. She's like, nah, it's not gonna happen.
She's like, I'm the one with the black belt. I get to decide.
So what's the ideal future for you in the next couple of years? Is it to be an MMA fighter?
That's like one
or
of
is there other things that you're working on?
There's definitely like other things like I have my mind on. But like I definitely would like to have like 1 or 2 MMA fights. I feel like I need to have like 1 MMA fight before like I make any decision. Like I need to know if I really love it or not. You know, like obviously I love it, but I want to know like I need to make sure like when I'm in this, like I want to make sure like I go 100%. Like I want the title and everything. But I'll be like at 105. I wouldn't be at 115. Like that's what I walk around at. So even with fights at 105, it's kind of like hard to find because there's very like small like amount of like 105ers, you know.
Right.
And it's hard to find.
Yeah, that's a great weight cut. That's not much at all.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? It's kind of nice to be like, I got to lose 10 pounds.
5 or 10 pounds, yeah.
I mean, for somebody smaller, obviously that's as hard as somebody bigger who has to drop 20. But, all right. So are you thinking like in your mind, are you seeing like UFC? Are you seeing, I mean, after you obviously get one under your belt and you see how it feels, but let's say you love it. Let's say I actually like getting punched in the face now. Like let's say that switches. Do you want to go all the way?
Yeah.
Like you see it as your end all be all career kind of situation?
Yeah, I mean, I also have like big promotions already like contacting me, but it's like
because you could probably sneak in there pretty easily with your record in what you do.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to just like I feel like for the UFC too. Also, the lowest weight class is 115, so I would not be fighting at 115 because those girls cut from like 130, 140 to drop to fight at 115.
They're big girls, yeah.
So, I feel like with training, I'd rather stay comfortable at like 105 and like I have like a lot of promotions contacting me, but I want to focus on like this one thing before I make like a big decision. But yeah, I see it. I definitely see it like as a goal for me in the future.
I feel like I'm rushing you.
No,
I'm like, come on. Does Bellator or any other association have a lower weight class, a 105?
Bellator did like a one-off, like they do like one-offs for 105, but one championship has 105.
Okay. And soccer kicks.
Yeah.
So let's avoid those. What's Elise? Is she 115?
She's 115.
Okay. Which I thought I didn't realize, like I thought that was very small. And now to think that a 105, I guess that makes sense. Wow. Tell me about social media. Like, you know, obviously everybody grows up with social media these days, but like, it seems like your world is getting a lot of traction in social media. Like there's a lot of following and there's a lot of communities in that
I feel
world.
like along with MMA, I feel like jiu-jitsu is kind of like going mainstream.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure. It wasn't as big as it was. Like it wasn't, I'm sorry. It's getting big as when I started in 2007. Yeah. There was like maybe like one academy and like you had to drive an hour to go find another academy. Nowadays, like if you want to go train jiu-jitsu, you'll probably find like 4 or 5 academies like in
I agree.
30
Yeah.
miles. You know.
Yeah, maybe too many.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like
A
everywhere.
lot of people are just opening up jiu-jitsu schools now.
But it's like 10 years ago, you wanted to find a boxing gym and you had to go in like the hood to find a good boxing gym. Now it's like Ray Ray's boxing in the corner and
Yep.
Timmy's boxing over here. And then there's like some other like kickboxing, mom situation. Like there's just boxing everywhere. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. When you started, like, obviously you have a good following on social media. Does that play a role in kind of like your career and what things you're working on and doing?
Like I got like a lot of good sponsors who support me. Shout out to them.
You want to sponsor podcast work?
And like it's given me like a lot of opportunity where like I wouldn't, like, for example, like if I wouldn't be on going against Cynthia Cavillo in that match without social media, because that's how I got contacted. UFC Fight Pass wanted me. They had a guy contact me, a matchmaker, and they liked me from a previous event that I did. And I think social media definitely helps. If you market yourself right, you'll be able to like
Yeah. No, it's huge, and I yell at every fighter who comes in here and is either private or has like 1,000 or less followers because they put like one post a month. Like you gotta take this thing a little more serious, because these days, like it's like back in the day having a website for whatever you did. Like now it's you don't need a website, but you need to have an active presence. If you're planning on making it
it's
as a
sometimes
fighter.
hard too, because like I try to like, and I want to like talk to everybody who messages me, and but it's really hard. It's.
Me too. I'm just.
I know, like
flooded.
everyone like laughs like
Flooded.
social media is this, but like I like to be interactive with people. I like to talk to them, especially new people, and they support me and watch my stuff. Like that's like your help. Like thank you. Like it means like I like getting messages where like someone's son, especially like sons, like they're watching my jiu-jitsu, my training. That means that like makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something good, and just seeing that, and like with Fury. The grappling I did a week ago, after my match, like I had these two young boys like coming up to me, like they were like excited, like seeing me, meeting me, and I probably like talked to the mom on social media, on Instagram, but it just meant so much to me, like just their eyes, like they're about to cry, like meeting me. It's I don't know how to explain that feeling. It's like I'm doing something good.
Well, in their eyes, you're, in a lot of people, you're like the star of the show. You're the celebrity of the event. So people obviously,
I'm
especially.
so surprised I was the main event. I don't know. It's like kind of last minute. So I don't know.
Yeah, but you did. I mean, the way you ended it was worthy of it.
She was really strong.
Yeah, was she?
Really strong, yeah.
But you made her tap. You choked her out.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I simply did a video of your entrance. I wanted to capture like one good entrance with like the little fireworks and the whole deal, or the pyrotechnics. And I sent it to my wife to show to my kid because he's into all this stuff, and he was like dying to go to the event. And but it was funny because it was when you came out and you immediately threw yourself on your back, right?
Jumped guard or pulled guard.
I call it throw yourself on your back.
Or just like on my butt, just.
Listen, you don't have to correct me. No, I'm
like
good.
I said, non-white belt. No.
Listen, you're here to teach me. But anyway, is that part of, like, why did you make that choice to do that right away?
Well, again, so like
this is for my own personal knowledge, by the way. I'm not questioning you.
If I'm gonna do this was like a sub only match. If I'm gonna do a submission only event, and like the rule set, I'm not gonna waste a lot of energy trying to wrestle them. And I did that mistake like my first EBI tournament. I beat the girl at like in overtime round. It's a totally different rule set. But I learned my lesson. I'm not wasting energy on trying to wrestle because it's submission only. You're just going to waste time wrestling. It's not points. So it's not going to benefit you in the end. So for this rule set, like I had the mindset of pulling guard, hopefully either get a leg, maybe I'll get a leg lock. But I was trying to like work so hard not getting a leg lock. So I just wanted to like come up with a sweep or come up with a takedown.
Because that's what you do a lot of, and you didn't want to do that?
I love.
Right. But you wanted to prove a point that you could do something else, kind of thing?
And I did that.
Gotcha.
So I pulled guard. I wanted to work come up with a sweep or a takedown. My goal was to take her back. That was like my ultimate goal because I was doing my research on her, and I noticed she likes to pull turtle, getting out like being defensive.
What's pull turtle?
Turtle's like when they're on their knees and they kind of like fold.
Okay.
She liked doing that from like escaping positions and submissions. So I had to like my coach told me to like, so it's like a known saying, like to like, if you want something, you have to like give a little to get a little. So at this point, like I came up, she was trying to like grab a hold of my leg because she was trying to do a leg lock. So I gave her my leg, not all of it, but I gave her like a little inch of it for me to like, I'm trying to remember like how the match went, but like to like elevate her hips to take her back. And that's what I did. So I used her attack. I countered her attack from like my defense to take her back.
That shit's so fascinating.
I do. I'm sorry. I sound like a dork, but like I do.
No,
like,
I
do. Research
but
this, like, really.
I love this stuff because, like I said, I'm learning more and more. It's I mean, it's the same thing as fighting, but at the speed at which you have to like see all these things happening to make all these decisions is pretty outstanding. Like you were when you made the decision to give her a little bit of your leg, so then she would do this. Like you're thinking of all this stuff as it's happening.
Yes. Well, I always especially for like this match, like I was working on reactions, and there was a couple times where I would like try to like drop for a foot or a leg. Like I was using that leverage to like make her defend to give me something. So like a little basic breakdown, like when you go for an outside heel hook, what's their basic defense most of the time? They try to they push your knees down, they get their knee line out, what's exposed? Their back. So I was trying to use that to get a hold of her back or have or some kind of back control. But
at this point in your career, it's like you don't have to think much about it. It just you
just
kind of see it and you
actually,
recognize
like,
it.
At that moment, like the end of the last like 20 seconds of the match, like I basically just did it. I wasn't like thinking. I knew like where her position was. I knew like I had to get my hook in. I knew it was just gonna be over.
How stressful is it before you walk out to like something like that event?
You know, like it was weird. So like the match from like 3 weeks ago, I was very like nervous. I always get nervous, no matter how long I've been doing it for. I always get nervous. Like I was
nervous
super
to
nervous.
lose or nervous to not perform what you want.
I would say perform because like my match in February, I performed poorly because I was so nervous. I couldn't like. But I was also getting over an injury, so that was holding me back. So that it was like a lot of things going on at once. So then the other match, you know, I kind of like come back and redeem myself, and you know, I had like the one thing I'm gonna do now is not look at social media because I feel like that messes with me sometimes. Like reading comments, you know, trolls, you know, people saying so and so will beat me, like whatever. I know it's stupid, but like kind of like gets to you mentally.
It gets into your head a little bit, yeah.
So that whole week, like I kind of just stayed off social media. Like I just did my own thing. I stuck to my game plan.
You got to do what the Barstool guy just recently did. Just put all the comments on, just start fucking roasting them one by one, and then make it into a video. And then I bet you people will stop.
I'm like petty though, so I kind of like when I like beat the girl from Who's Number One. I kind of like some of the. I went back to like some of the pictures and like some of the comments I was saying like she was gonna like.
And then you went back and said something.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. I just liked the comment. I'm just petty like that. Like how you said I was gonna get my ass kicked. Some guy, like someone from her team, on her team, like had the nerve to like a week out message me personally, like saying she's gonna kick my ass, or like I'm just a pathetic like.
How old is this gentleman?
He was probably in his like 30s, 40s. Yeah, he has a kid too, and he had a child. I'm not gonna say his name, but like
Let's
I get those kind of people. You know, I get those. Kind
Gabby,
of people.
pull it up.
Could you imagine?
No, you know it's. What are you doing, man?
But these things happen. It's like. You know, like you went out of your way just to like say that to me, but I went back and I liked the comment, and of course he blocked me. So.
Oh, dude! Whoa, guy! Whoa!
Yeah.
Why don't you teach your kids about that one? Harass the female fighter, so then she blocks you, and then get mad about it. Oh my lord! Do you find yourself having to block a lot of people?
Recently, no. I find it kind of funny now. It's like it's just like.
I'm telling you, you gotta embrace it. Just embrace the hate. It's only gonna raise you higher.
I don't know like what it is, but it's like with females in combat sports, for some reason, like if you have some kind of look, use a perfect example, Paige Van Zandt, very beautiful. She has a body, you know, everyone knows her, but people hate on her for no reason. I know, like, okay, she's not that much of a good fighter anymore. I feel like she kind of lost her drive because she's getting certain attention, more money. Yeah. You know, it's understandable, but it's like. You're going out of your way to like kind of put down this girl, and she's making money, like she's doing something good for herself.
Yeah, but those people are losers, though. You know.
You'd be surprised though. Like it's teammates that can like put you down, like people.
It's
like
insecure people. Paige made a very clear By the way, Paige is the only girl that I saw at the airport when I went to Vegas for some other convention, for like a TV convention thing that I had to go to. And she was at there. She was big. I thought she was smaller.
Yeah, I heard.
Like she's tall. Like she's a big, tall, girl. Anyway, I was starstruck. I'm just joking. No. I always liked her as a fighter, but I think she made a very clear decision at one point to give zero shits and
she was making more money.
But also just like I think before she was always trying to downplay certain things or then like play some certain like it was too much. And then now she's like she's funny as shit. Like she'll post stuff without makeup, but then she'll post stuff that's super well done.
She made this clear so many times too that she was making more money on social media than the UFC.
Yeah, she did. Say that.
But then again, like she wasn't winning fights, so it's understandable. Like of course, you're not winning fights, you're not gonna get as paid as like the winner.
Even if you're winning fights, you're probably not gonna get paid as much as she's
probably.
Winning.
Yeah, but then you have like fighters, guys and girls, not just girls, definitely guys too. They're putting her down, and it's like you guys don't even know how to market yourselves. Of course, you're gonna put her down. Like she's probably hotter than your girlfriend or wife, first of all. That's probably why that's why you're probably putting her down. And two, like she knows how to market herself, whether you like her or not. It's all nowadays it's all about marketing. No matter like how much like you hate it or, like Sean O'Malley, like he's using his like, he's like funny. He does that to promote his fights. He's gonna get paid more. Yeah. Like that's
he's
like,
also still like he just went off on a whole thing about Conor, like giving all the compliments and like saying how much he learned from him, how much he likes him, how much he studies everything about him. Like he's not a bad dude.
Conor, that's like a perfect example too. Like Conor McGregor, like, and then like more people joined because of Conor McGregor. Like people are like wanting to fight because of him. Like he's brought more in Ronda Rousey too. Yeah. Forgot about her, but Conor has like opened up like a variety of like people coming into the MMA world, and it's because of his personality. People even if he loses this next fight and lost his last fight, like people are still gonna watch him because he's Conor McGregor.
Gabby, shut it down. We're not no negative vibes in this room.
It's been great getting to know you.
God damn it! You know what?
I picked Dustin the last fight they had.
You picked Dustin?
I said by knockout, yeah. And I got like so much shit for it too.
You're gonna pick this one again? Well, no. We'll get there. I'm gonna let you be on the show longer before you go against Conor. I agree with you 100%. I think if you're not marketing yourself and you're not, by the way, also market yourself with who you are. Sean O'Malley, even though he gets called Tekashi 6ix9ine every goddamn post, he's his own person. He's his own look. He's his own style. So listen, go with that. Don't try to be another guy. Don't try to be Conor. You know what I mean? Be who you are. Be who you are. No, but I think the hate, I think it's just people got to push that. Like, just post it, repost it, share that shit. Like,
yeah.
Who gives a crap? Like, if you're posting stuff on social media, especially somebody else's social media, like.
And, like,
have you ever posted something negative on somebody else's social media?
Oh, what happened?
Have you ever posted anything negative on, like, a random person? I mean, you don't have to say it. Yeah.
No,
but you know, like, have you gone out of your way
stuff
to be negative? Yeah, no. Like, I think that's a lot of effort.
I don't know. Like there's, like, perfect example of, like women in the MMA world, like some of them are posting like they have OnlyFans, they're posting like bikini pictures, but a lot of the times like that's just helping promote themselves, like they're not bothering anyone, like that's just the way it is, like that's how people are drawn to like watching them. And
if you're comfortable enough to do that, you're comfortable enough to do that in your real world anyways, like in your outside of the social media. So I mean, do you? That's what it is. I felt, what was it, Lauren Murphy? Somebody recently like got a good amount of, or no, maybe who did Lauren Murphy fight?
Joanne
Calderwood, which I like them both, but Calderwood I think was the one, or somebody said something like, I got these many followers and I know it's not much compared to other people, but it's still pretty great and I don't post any bikini pictures. I think it might have been, but anyway, everybody does their own thing. So maybe she's happy with 200,000 followers and Paige is, with 100 million.
It's not for everybody, but
what's that?
So it's not for everybody, but they're just doing their own thing to like.
It isn't, but it is for anybody who wants to make money. You can't make money.
That's what people don't understand.
You can't make money.
There's the ones who are kind of like hating from the outside. Yeah.
So you're gonna post about this episode on your social media. She's like, no, I'm not. So. Do you have stuff for the? Are you gonna look? Where are you gonna watch the fights? Are you gonna watch it with other people, by yourself?
Just I'm not really a going out person, so I'm probably just watch it at home.
Okay, it's a better way to watch
PC,
it anyway.
Yeah.
And you're gonna watch the fights, obviously.
Yes.
I'm kind of pissed because I like quadruple scheduled this weekend,
Oh no.
not knowing that it was the Conor fight. So we're gonna be actually at the beach all day long, and then have to drive back up to pick up my dog from my parents' house, and possibly either see the fight there or see it at home. Sounds like a fucking nightmare. But anyway, I will not miss the fights. So can you zoom that up a little bit there? Let's. You seem like you're pretty knowledgeable on all your fighters, so we can go down to the prelims real quick because there are a couple decent fights. So how about this? How about if you have anything to say about any other fighters, let's go for it. But otherwise, let's try to make some picks, even if it's based on names.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a Ryan Hall fan?
I am a huge Ryan Hall fan. Yeah.
I
Again, like when I started jiu-jitsu, he was like in the competing scene. So I always liked his jiu-jitsu, his ground game. He started doing the leg locks early on.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be biased because like I made that mistake last time, like couple UFC fights ago. Because like the jiu-jitsu guy, I always think like they're gonna win because they have jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
but I feel like Ryan Hall has a better shot of winning. I know he's the underdog. I don't know too much about the other guy, Leah.
When was the last time he fought? 8-1. That's a fucking great record.
I think last time he fought was
It's been a
against
while, right?
BJ Penn.
Jesus Christ. What has he been doing this whole
I
time?
think so.
I think you can just click on the drop down over there.
I think it was the BJ Penn fight.
Mm-hmm. Or no, Darren Elkins.
Decision.
2019, 2018, 2006. So he's not very active.
He's been getting injured a lot, so I don't.
Yeah.
But I have him winning though. I think he'll beat the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's let me make some picks here. So I'm gonna go with you on that one. Ryan Hall to win. Then Nico Price versus Pareda, which if that's not fireworks, I mean, Pareda doesn't stop doing flips, and Nico Price is badass. Do you like both of these guys, or?
I have Nico Price for this one.
Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Come on, let's disagree a little bit. Condit versus Griffin.
I have Max Griffin for this.
You do?
Yes.
Condit.
I'm sorry, Carlos.
I'm
We
going
talked
Condit.
briefly on Instagram.
Yeah?
But no, nothing like that.
Carlos.
But I feel like, I don't know, Max Griffin, I feel like he's like underrated. I feel like a lot of these underrated fighters that don't really get a lot of attention usually end up being like super good.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen Max Griffin striking. I think it'll be a little too much for Carlos. Probably knockout.
Wow. All right. Well, sorry, Condit. I'm going to go for Condit because now I feel bad. Now, Condit had some good press conference moment. Not press
He's
conference,
also a
interview
veteran.
moments
He's
recently.
been around a while.
Been around forever. Yeah.
Yeah,
But didn't
so
he have a
that's
great
why,
performance recently?
I feel bad for veterans like that because I feel like, eventually they're just going to keep, once you get knocked out, I feel like some of them just keep that's how they lose,
Yeah.
But I don't know much about the UFC fighting like that, so.
Yeah.
Or striking.
Well, that's what happens when you get knocked out several times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, your chin goes. I mean, that's the classic boxing, comment. I think this is a really good card, which usually Conor cards aren't because they can't afford them. Usually Conor gets so much money that they usually can't bring on all these other big names. So I don't know. I guess because they had the week off. I guess they also have a week off usually before Conor fights. But either way, great card. So O'Malley opens up the main event.
I think Chris is from CFFC.
He just fought in the CFFC, yeah. And he got called for this.
I feel so bad.
What a way to get into the UFC, huh?
I hope he gets multiple fights after this, win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think they give him one more.
He put on a great performance at CFFC.
Yeah, no, he did.
I'm just confused why they didn't give Sean someone in a top 10. Why?
Yeah, why they pulled somebody from outside of the.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
I think they had a couple people, but nobody could make the weight on time or something. But you're right. You would think there would be a good amount of people putting their hands up for it. I messaged John and I said, "How low can Sean Brady cut to?" I said that as a joke. I got a million laughing emojis.
No.
So who do you got on O'Malley versus Chris? O'Malley. Correct.
O'Malley, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aldana versus Kunitskaya. I like Aldana.
Yeah, I got Aldana as well. I don't know how to say the other girl's last name, but Yana. I saw her last fight. It was a pretty close fight, and I'm kind of surprised she won that fight because the other girl was all over her, mounting her. She doesn't give up. She has like good striking, but I feel like Irene has better technique.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've been right with my women's fights lately. So
You have been right.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I think
But
Irene
Sky
has
is good. She's Thiago Santos' wife, right?
Is she?
Yeah. That's a fucking household.
Yeah.
Both
Oh,
badasses.
gosh.
It's aggressive household. She's good, but I like Aldana. I think she definitely wins this one. And then Tuivasa with his Shui versus Hardy.
This one was kind of hard because, I mean, like, I know a lot of people hate on Greg Hardy. And I know, like, he's used to be a football player, whatever. But he's actually, like, he's picked up fighting, like, he's actually, like, not that bad. I have to give him the credit.
Yeah. He's definitely athletic. You
yes.
can tell he has that. Yeah.
I feel like experience wins this fight because I know Ty is coming off by 2 wins, 2 first round knockout, I believe. I think it was 2 first round. So I think it's gonna be a really good fight because I had like Greg in my like as like a bet, but I think Ty is gonna.
Do you bet a lot on fights?
I do like a bookie. I'm under like a bookie sponsorship, so I work with like
gotcha.
fighters. So I do like a lot of my research and studying. So, but yeah, I think with experience, I think Ty wins this one for sure.
This is scaring me because we're agreeing on everything and we're getting slowly to the top of the card. I am definitely. I am going also with Tuivasa. I think he definitely wins that fight. Gilbert Burns for Thompson. I'm gonna say my pick before you say your pick, so we don't agree on it. I think Thompson's gonna definitely win this fight. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. So I usually pick the jiu-jitsu guy, but I just feel like, and I've known Gilbert. I went against his wife years ago, like in a grappling match.
You beat her.
Yeah. Really nice guy. I just feel like Thompson again, it's experience, and I feel like Thompson's just gonna outstrike him.
In a very like overview way, like without overthinking it, the fact that Gilbert Burns got dropped with was it a jab?
No,
from
it was
Usman? Was
Usman.
a cross?
Yeah.
No, I know, but was it a jab that?
Yes.
That was a little suspect as far as like did that. I mean, he doesn't.
I feel like in that like fight, I feel like Usman just didn't really. I think he just got caught off guard, and then once he got into his stance and his striking, I think it was just over for Gilbert.
I just think Thompson is gonna kick him in the head, and knock him out.
Just kick him in the
That's
head.
what I see. Listen, that's what I see. Thompson's he's looking better than ever. I feel like the guy goes up to the top and then goes a little bit down and then goes right back up to the top. In that karate stance, Gilbert Burns is gonna get kicked in the head. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna happen. So we both got Thompson. Oh shit! Here we go. Poirier versus McGregor. Give me your breakdown first. Give me your breakdown before you pick, and we'll make picks afterward at the breakdown. I'll give you my breakdown too.
Well, the last fight they had, I had picked Dustin, and people were calling me crazy. I didn't know anything about fighting, yada yada, whatever. So I
wait. They said that you didn't know anything about fighting.
I didn't know anything about.
Who are these people? Because Dustin is a badass. I mean,
they're fans. They don't know anything about fighting. They just go with the bandwagon. So I had picked Dustin in our last fight, and he won. So again, like I feel like Conor. He hasn't really fought anyone super good recently. I'm not saying Cerrone's not good at all, but he's like kind of past his. I know like there's people like friends with him like locally, but he's past his prime, and it wasn't surprising when Conor like knocked him out. Like I had Conor beating Cerrone, but if you watch Dustin versus Hooker fight, like Dustin has a fight in him. He was getting almost knocked out. Like okay, like Dustin Conor got the best of him in the first round a little bit, but it was nothing like crazy. And I also think with like they fought in January, I think. I don't think Conor is gonna like brush up on technique in just 5 or 6 months later. Who knows? Like I think there's knockout power. Like I'm not saying there might be a first round knockout, by Conor. I'm not doubting it at all. But if I'm just getting if I'm gonna have like common sense, I feel like Dustin will. I feel like this fight might go maybe like 3 to 5 rounds, maybe 4 like by a knockout or 5 by decision. Because I know like Conor, I know he really wants this fight, so I know like he's hungry for it. But I think I can't bet against Dustin on this. I think he deserves the title shot against Oliveira.
So Dustin by finish?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I'm gonna go by finish.
You came all the way here to break my heart. Listen, I love Dustin. I think he's the type of fight.
Let me also say, like, if
you
you're
said
gonna
you hate
tweet,
Conor. Okay.
if you're gonna tweet about first one who wrestles is a Dusty one or something, you're already telling me you don't know how to defend a takedown. Like Dustin's, I don't know.
He does though. He's just talking crap.
Yeah, I have to go with Dustin on this one again.
All right. Well,
and have the Conor McGregor haters. Even the Conor McGregor haters, like they want Conor to win, but they're gonna bet on Dustin. He's the favorite, Yeah. So.
Damn. All right. Everybody no, I'm just kidding. I like Dustin. Dustin's a dog. He's the type of fighter I want to see fight always. He's the type of guy who spits the blood and keeps on going, bites the mouthpiece, keeps on going, hammer fists you while he's against, his back's against the cage, against like the hooker thing. Like he doesn't want to lose, and you got to put him out. You know what I mean? He's not going to go out easily. But I'm gonna tell you why I think Conor has a bigger advantage this time around.
Okay.
And I think the biggest advantage is actually being active in 6 months. Conor's issue has always, like when he started losing, he was fighting once a year, once every 2 years, once every 3 years. No fighter is ever going to perform their best without competing. Everybody says like the perfect competing time is about every 6 months. The fact that he's got that on his side, the fact that he probably took Dustin a little light last time, I got to assume that Conor's going to come in and be a little, move better. Dustin got caught a couple times pretty solid. If Conor was better on his feet, I think that could have gone more in Conor's favor. I'm not saying he would have won the first fight or the second fight. I just think he would have performed better.
He looked very like a different Conor McGregor.
He was very slow and stiff and kind of
he was very stiff with his stance, like a boxer stance.
Yeah.
No leg kicks or anything.
Well, somebody said today he was mentally training for not mentally, but like he was going to fight Manny Pacquiao possibly. So he was training for that, and then the Poirier fight came in kind of midway in that camp. So he just assumed that with the power and the boxing, he could still beat Poirier, which is a big fucking mistake. So if he adjusted that and goes back to regular karate stance, Conor,
I don't know. I just feel like Conor doesn't have it in him anymore. I feel like Dustin really wants this fight and he wants that title shot.
You don't think Conor wants this fight? Because he's done if he loses this fight.
That's what I'm saying. So I actually said this and people were like saying like, oh, now you're gonna go with Conor. But I would say the reason if Conor wins is because the UFC like doesn't want him to retire. Like that's their star. You know what I mean?
Are you saying Dustin's gonna take a fall?
No.
No. I kick my wife out of rooms when she says stuff like this.
No. I just feel like
she thought
again, it's marketing, and I just feel like he's not Conor McGregor as the first time they fought. That's totally different.
No, for sure. Yeah.
And I think with Khabib fight exposed a lot. Actually, I give Conor McGregor. I think Dustin like got finished early on before Conor. I think Conor, it was like 4th round that he got finished by Khabib.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Conor has good takedown defense. He's not that bad. People just we talked about the hate. People have so much quick hate to what I mean. Conor has 5 losses. He fights the best of the best. I feel like I'm just convincing you over there. I know I can't convince her. I'm trying to convince you. I don't know. Like he's so polarizing. People just go so hard on him or so bandwagon for him.
I think it's wishful thinking. Like you don't want to see Conor McGregor go.
You don't, because the thing is, if you do, that the UFC loses a lot of star power, and that's exciting. I get excited Conor week. I don't know. I mean, I look forward to a Dustin fight.
I would not be mad if Conor won. I would not be mad because then
But you're gonna say it's bullshit. You're gonna say the UFC
No, I wouldn't be mad, but I'm just saying like in a technical standpoint, like I feel like Dustin, like he wants to fight Oliveira, like he wants to have that title shot, and I feel like Conor has everything already. Like he's already accomplished so much, and I feel like he doesn't have that drive anymore.
So if Poirier beats Conor and then fights Oliveira and gets the title, he couldn't have planned that up better, because he took a step back, avoided the title just to make the money. He's making a fucking bank with this fight. And then
I
he's
would
gonna.
too. Like, who wouldn't take that fight again?
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. If he manages, but if he loses, well, he fucked up. He made a lot of money, but he fucked up. He's not. I mean,
well, I believe Dana said like the winner of this fight gets
they're
the
getting the
title
belt.
shot.
Yeah, or they're going for the belt. And if Conor wins and goes for the belt and gets somehow the belt,
I feel
That's
like
crazy.
the real argument is like Dustin versus Mike Chandler. Mike Chandler put out Hooker in like 40 seconds. Dustin and Hooker went all 5 rounds, like a bloody match. You know, I feel like, you know, that's why that's another thing why I think Dustin wins is because I feel like he just has so much. He has more power than Conor McGregor. I feel like McGregor.
you think Poirier has more power than McGregor?
Yeah. I do. Yeah. I feel like, and cardio wise too, I think Conor like his cardio like went out in like round 2. Like he looked totally different than the first round.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking facts, and you don't like facts.
No.
She's popping shots.
Yo, I like facts. I'm just saying your facts are wrong.
But again, I wouldn't be mad if McGregor like won. Like that would actually be like super cool and a comeback story. Like everyone's doubting him. He's the underdog now. Like,
Yeah.
Dustin's the favorite. You know.
He's very The lines are almost even. They're like very. They'll shift. They're gonna go towards McGregor. I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying that's what's going to happen. As the Irish fans invade and start placing bets, Conor's going to become the favorite. I'm telling you now. So today's Thursday. Tonight is the press conference. And a lot of people say that the press conference will tell a lot about McGregor's.
Not really. I don't know why people go so... I'm just saying in general, not because of McGregor. Just in general.
Just ride with me on this one.
Yeah.
Wait, because someone's telling me that like if he comes out mean, he's gonna win.
Right.
And I was like, what? I was like, I mean,
But
it
you're
makes sense.
But you're telling me that when he was super nice, you didn't think he's fucked. It's a mind. It's a state of mind. I mean, it's like you hype yourself up before you go and compete.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like, you know what I also like when I started doing bets, I always noticed whatever fighter is like the most cocky or like overly confident, they always end up losing. And that happened
unless
with
that's them though.
That
And
happened with the Marino fight. I thought I had I can't never say his name, Figueiredo. Yes.
Yeah,
I had him winning.
His style sucks.
No, their first fight around, it was like back and forth. I mean, he ended up winning again by this like close split decision. But like, you know, Marino like, you know, kept it low key, kept his head down, came back, brushed out the technique, and just
he looked fucking fantastic.
He looked fantastic. Yeah. I'll never bet against Marino again.
I bet against anybody with white sunglasses when they walk out.
Yeah.
Playing old school music. I'm
mistake,
sorry.
So.
It drives, but the Bond music. God damn it, dude. All right, so you got Dustin by finish. I do agree with you, very very small amount, on the fact that if they exceed round 3,
I think
that's when I'm gonna go get a drink
Dustin's
and be
side.
like, the Conor's gonna go. I don't think Conor gets finished though.
You think so?
I don't think he gets finished again. Can you imagine though? That's almost unbelievable to see Conor get knocked out back to back.
I can see it happening.
Maybe choked out.
I can see him getting losing back to back. Yeah.
You're a Conor hater.
I'm not a Conor hater.
You know, listen, honestly, I'd rather Dustin win, but it be a scrap that it's a 5 round and they're both bleeding and they're both tired. Yeah. That would
like give the audience a good fight. Like
I think we all win with that much more than if we see a knockout.
Like fight of the year or something, you know?
Even if Dustin wins, it doesn't matter. Conor still wins in that case because he put on 5 rounds, didn't get tired, didn't get taken out. He can still fight anybody who's top level. Because we all agree that Dustin's, if he's not number 1, he's the champ. You know what I mean? Like he's up there. So for Conor, who everybody thinks is washed up, the fact that he's fighting that guy, if he wins or last 5 rounds, is still, you know, a big deal. All right, it's very obvious that I want Conor to win. I think we can move on. I think we can move on. Who do you have, Gabby?
It's tough.
Watch
Are
yourself.
we gonna be cool no matter what?
No, that is not a promise that I make at all.
No, because I picked Dustin last time, mainly because
Did you get a lot of Conor McGregor haters?
It was literally in the gym. We were talking about it, and it was like, no, bro, no.
Everybody thought Dustin was gonna win.
Yeah, no, everyone thought Conor was gonna win.
Oh.
But
I get shocked by that. That fighters actually go for Conor though.
Yeah.
That like legit, you know.
Well, yeah, but
Anyway.
I think Conor needs this, and I think if he feels the fire the way that he should, he might take it. But because everyone's saying he's the Diaz fight, like he he's better when he comes back. Like he has a better game plan. Like he knows what he's in for. So
I love when they say Conor never loses a rematch. He's only done one rematch.
well, yeah, but like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I mean, because the Diaz that was.
Listen, he left his family behind.
That was the other thing.
He's been training in LA where the fight's going to take place for the last 2 months or whatever it's been.
For this fight?
Yeah. Because the last fight in Abu Dhabi, he was in a yacht across from the venue with his family, wearing Gucci suits, drinking fancy shit.
That one felt like a tour. Like he was like, I'm a spectacle. This one,
it's a fight.
It's a fight.
Yeah.
And I think that's
the one before that. He was like doing the fucking paddleboarding thing with the princess of Monaco or some shit, and then the yacht, and then this one he's like downtown LA riding his bike, making everybody late to work, and I don't know. He's doing everything right. If he loses, he loses, but he's doing everything I think right. We'll see. Press conference is gonna say everything about the fight. I'm telling you now. You're not gonna watch it, are you? You're not gonna watch it?
No, I'll watch it.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I feel like people, they can just put an act on, but still like, they're not confident.
Yeah.
Till it's fight night.
Yeah.
That's when you really know like who's prepared. So now they always say weigh-ins usually tells like who's prepared. If someone has to like cut last minute or
Yeah.
But yeah, my opinion still stands. I have Dustin.
Right.
No matter how you're a UFC fighter, you should be training as hard like that,
Yeah, but people when they have hundreds of millions of dollars don't. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like win or lose, like Conor, like he already has it all. Like he doesn't have to win this fight to he can fight again if he wants.
But it's a horrible way to go. Like, okay, you made all the money in the world, but guess what? Your last 5 fights or whatever, you lost, or however many, 4 fights.
Like that makes me like
That's a shitty way to go.
1 or 2. Like if he loses is the fight, like would he ever be like a co-main? Like he's always gonna be Conor McGregor. Like he's just so
not,
popular.
That's where he's stuck in. That's the problem that he's stuck in because he can't go backwards in that sense. He's gonna have to be the main event. He's gonna have to make a lot of money, and when you have that many losses,
like him and Cerrone did.
Say that again.
They would just do it like how him and Cerrone, like they made a main event just for them. It wasn't.
Well, what's gonna happen? I think the only fight that Conor has if he loses is the Diaz trilogy. That's about it.
Yeah, I actually remember that. I thought they were supposed to have it like a while ago.
I think they're just.
But it doesn't make sense for Conor to go up. Like I feel like when going up 170 is a big mistake. Like stay your weight class. You're stronger where you're at.
I know, and I love people who say, "Well, he was better at 145." Well, he can't fucking make 145 at this point. He's already been to 170. The body doesn't work that way. I mean, you could, but you're going to perform like shit. So he has those. I mean, look at his record though. Right? Seaver, Mendes, Aldo, Diaz.
I'm surprised
Diaz,
I think Khabib was the underdog against him.
No, Khabib's never the underdog.
I thought so. People had McGregor winning against him before.
I was
always surprised.
That was a complicated life for McGregor at those times, and Khabib and the shit talking and all that. That was crazy. And then you got to add the loss to McGregor as well. I mean, to Mayweather as well. My point is, if Conor wants to if he cares about the money, he needs to win because in order to fight Pacquiao, he needs to win. Who the hell's going to pay a huge pay-per-view to see him fight Manny Pacquiao when he gets dropped twice back to back? You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
That's a dumb.
Maybe that is making him wanna win this fight even more because then
if you want your grandkids, kids to have money, you better win this fight and then you go fight Manny Pacquiao. But then again, and you lose that one.
People probably just would watch McGregor because he's McGregor.
I guess I'm gonna watch it, but it gets to the point that it's like Cowboy. I'm the biggest Cowboy fan, but in the recent 3 or 4 fights. It's like you almost dread to see him lose again. Like you don't really get I used to get nervous for Cowboy. Like, oh, maybe he will finally go on another tear of 3. Now it's just not gonna happen.
You get sad.
Yeah, then I cry a little bit. All right. Is there any current events before we wrap this guy up? Anything that you wanted to bring up?
So, can we do CM Punk?
He interviewed you, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yes.
How was CM Punk?
He was super nice.
Yeah.
He was really, really cool. It was really cool to hear him say it was an honor to commentate my match. He loved my jiu-jitsu even after I think it was I don't know if it was after or before the match. The fact that he was interested in my jiu-jitsu, he saw watched me compete, he complimented it. So it felt really good to me, someone that high big of a name.
Yeah.
You know, watching me, like that just means a lot because then you know I have like a lot of people like you know watching like what I do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm able to like inspire a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like jiu-jitsu. So yeah, he was really cool people. It was the only like thing like off that night was when they decided to like post my ring girl video. I don't know if you guys saw that.
No.
Like, it was, like, a little clip.
on the screens.
Yeah, like before I walked out.
So wait, we didn't even talk about this. You were a ring card girl
I used to be a ring card girl.
for what? Boxing or MMA?
CFC MMA.
Oh, you were.
Yeah.
Ah,
Really bad time. Really confusing time in my life, but yeah.
For how?
Now,
That's okay.
one of my buddies is ring girl right now, and she.
The blonde girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chelsea. She's yeah, she loves it because she has her day job and then she does that on the weekends.
Yeah.
Like, so all respect because I know I would not be able to. Honestly,
It was really like it was a
respect.
weird time, but like you know like the girls were kind of mean, so like you know it's
How long did you do that for?
how long did I do it for? I don't know if it was end of 2015 till end of 2016. Yeah, it was kind of like weird though, like how I stopped, but like I was also like going through like a kind of like a hard time during my life, so like I don't know, like I think someone like told like one of the managers like I was drunk or something, so I was like this drunk ring girl,
What?
you know.
Oh my
Yeah, I don't know like what happened.
That makes
like,
it more fun.
yeah, I don't know like what happened, but it was like a weird time. But yeah, like as I walked out like to go into my match, like I saw like the little clip, and I'm like, who is that? Because I was all tan, I had black hair, I looked completely different. So yeah, that was a little that caught me off guard because like you know
That's
it's like
a weird thing to put up there. I guess because you probably had a CFFC gear on.
Yeah, it was a show, so
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I had like a lot of fights on UFC Fight Pass, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It was kind of confusing, but I guess cool, you know.
Don't
However
wor-
way you want to
Don't
look
worry
at
about it. Just move on. Listen, everybody. Look, the things that everybody does through life is being a ring card is nothing. Did you do it because you wanted to be close to fights, or did you do it just because you thought it would be fun to do?
It was a mix of both.
Yeah.
I
always wonder if they're like
I
into
don't-
the fights and that's why they want to
Now
do
that I
that.
look back into it, like I wouldn't do it again. I just didn't like the attention I got. I think I was taken less seriously. I think people, I at the time too, like I almost took like a year off of training. I wasn't going to my old school. I was also like, that's like during a time where I was like really like debating like, all right, should I still train at this academy, this, that? Like I was in a weird time in my life. So, and like being a ring girl on top of that, like I just felt like the fighters, even teammates, didn't respect me at the time. So
Because you did that.
something like that. Like I mean, I'm sure like we all, like when we were young, we all made like stupid mistakes. But if there's anything like I wish like I could go back and like, I mean, I had fun, but it wasn't like I just wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
Unless like UFC was like, hey, like would you want to be a ring girl? Hell yeah, like you're getting paid like a salary to like ring girl for them. But
And those girls are like as famous as the fighters, if not more.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them make more money than like debut ones or ones who have like 5 fights under them. You know.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Those, yeah.
So I probably wouldn't do it again if I was offered.
Sorry. Well, I saw the ring card girls at that event, and I actually heard guys screaming stuff at them, and I was like, "Are we still doing this shit?"
Well, no, wait. Can I?
I was like, "Is this happening still?"
When my friend walks around, I'll go, I cheer for her just to say, as I do the fighters. And then I realized that, like, people would turn around and be like, who's this asshole? I was like, she's my friend.
Oh,
I
really?
promise I'm not creepy. I'm just...
Oh, they thought you were an asshole?
Yeah. Well, because then, like, our friend group is, like, cheering for her. And then I was like,
It's a small world.
I'm not
Everyone
being,
knows someone
I'm
here.
not being disrespectful. I promise she's my girl. I'm just supporting her.
Oh, that's funny.
But,
Listen, let everybody do their thing. That's what the whole point of this show is. It's a positive show about anti-bullying and about making everybody do their thing. Well, listen, it's been great having you on. Keep killing it in the grappling world, but start fighting. And then come back on.
I'm not gonna rush
and
it.
then come back. No, don't rush it. I'm just joking around. It was a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.